Recording started.
What's up, everybody? I'm Brandon Clinton, aka BMAX78. This is episode 5 of the Anime Dojo. We're going through Hell's Paradise episode 7 and Demon Slayer episode 6. I'm alongside Chris. Chris, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
But before we get into the episode proper, I'll give you some time to get the episode for Hell's Paradise episode 7 up. We're going to go through something that we have gone through the past couple weeks and got released the last couple days, but this is pretty big. The Anime Corner website, they have a Twitter account. They post up fan vote of the top 10 animes of the every week for the spring season or the spring season. So this started in late April. We've gone through most of May or early April. We've gone through most of May now. So we're up through 6 weeks of this. The big thing, I'm not going to try to say the name of this title. No KO still on top. They went back to number 1. Demon Slayer slipped to number 2. And then Hell's Paradise stayed right where it was at 4. Chris, what do you think about that Demon Slayer slipped a spot, even though it was a pretty good episode? The animation was amazing. And Hell's Paradise staying right where it was. Is that because we still haven't got a lot of we didn't get answers to questions and people are still wondering about it, or is it just kind of staying steady?
I think the fact that they answer the questions are the reason why they stayed the same. Because I think the fans know that the action is going to pick back up, but they had a list longer questions that needed to be answered. As for Demon Slayer, I honestly see why. I don't know why that would be number 2, other than Oshinoko is probably, it must have had a really good episode, so that might be one that we should wait till it finishes and go back and rewatch it.
What I have a question. What is Okinoshu? Because it seems like an idol pop show, basically, like idol anime kind of thing. Do you know much about it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
None.
It's stayed pretty much in the top 3, so I'm not surprised by it. The rest of this list is pretty. The rest of the list is pretty, like nothing different out of it. The only thing I would say, Vinland Saga I've heard of, never seen it. I've heard of Insomnia After School, that's a little cute looking anime, and then that's pretty much it from that list I've seen. The rest of them are kind of stuff that's I don't. Oh yeah, I've heard number 6.
Kamikatsu. Now I've watched a few episodes on that, and I do think it's good. However, because it's so much to keep up with just Hell's Paradise and Demon Slayer, I've decided to take a step back and let that one finish as well. But so far, that one is pretty good. I can see why he deserves that number 6 spot.
Okay. Yeah, I think the one thing with the Demon Slayer episode that I saw was from last week was the fact you had the animation was amazing. When Tandro pulls out, when Nezuko makes his forward flaming, it just looks really cool. The seamless action where he just slices all 3 of those demons back to back looks really interesting. There was not much story progression in that. There's a little bit of story progression, but like the big story thing is we're going to see in this episode 6 is Genya. What happened to Genya, and why is Genya the way it is?
Right.
And then with Hell's Paradise, it just sets up what happened at the end. They left a huge cliffhanger.
As most animes do.
Yeah, so let's also a cliffhanger. That cliffhanger is something that we're going to see in episode 7, by the way. And I think they're going to stay on top because the action's so good. I just wonder if either story falls off. I wonder how much that will change that ranking. And then the one thing I didn't expect to be up here is Love Yonihina at level 99, which jumped 3 spots to where it was originally last week. Don't know much about the anime myself. Do you?
Well, I can say I don't know about the anime, but I can surely say If it's like some of the recent love animes, romance animes that I've watched recently, I can see
Mm-hmm.
why that is at number three. And
Okay.
as far as I know, it's about a young girl who likes a guy who happens to be like a hardcore gamer.
Oh, okay. I think I remember. I remember seeing like the teaser for this. Yes, there was a I remember seeing like the
Yeah,
teaser talking about this. So yeah, I remember the premise. Um. All right. So I do hope you have the episode up. We're about to get into. Was anything else you thought that was interesting from the charts, or anything else interesting that you thought from just other animes you've watched in the last couple weeks or been following?
one of my favorites is not on there. It's in another world with my smartphone too.
Yeah.
It is a good one, even though I don't see it on the list, but I do give them their applause. I do. It's one of my favorite animes.
And I think the one we've been following, I learned a cheat skill in another world it's been pretty good. I'm
Yeah,
surprised it hasn't hit this list either, but I'm guessing it's in tough competition this year. There's a lot of stuff this year in this anime season that's in tough that has a lot of competition. So for fans, for voting purposes, there's a lot of stuff that probably gets some votes, but that then will crack this top 10.
agree with that.
But I hope you all have the episode up. I will say 2, 3, 2, 1, and we'll get into it. I will say this episode does a good job at everything. We're gonna have a lot of stuff to talk about after this episode because they answer so much. But 3, 2, 1, let's go.
And here we are once again with the classic intro that has nothing to do with the anime.
yeah. They don't even do this for Attack on Titan, by the way.
Had to watch it again. Good job keeping the anime PG-13.
Yes.
Talk about a transformation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now as the intro plays. My brother, I'm not trying to make any enemies out there, but if I saw somebody go from female to male like that, I would be pissed.
What can I? Yeah. Uh,
And then in every animation after, they show him as male instead of female.
the only thing they didn't are they two separate entities or are they one entity together? Because they don't. They seem like two separate entities, but they're one's more powerful than the other.
Mm, I think this episode explains that, so
Okay.
I will decline to answer that.
Yeah. Go ahead. No, no worries.
Oh man, but they give so many flashes in the intro that it's like, what in the world?
Yes. Title of the episode is Flowers and Offerings.
I love how he kind of forced her to fight this time.
Yeah.
Then she
Why'd you
goes to
think
do
that?
something like this.
What was this supposed to be?
That's her ninjutsu.
Oh, she can just make
Don't
herself
even
sweat.
see how it works.
Yeah, we don't. We just see her like drink water and just have water all over her body. All right then.
Yeah, if that's not a ninjutsu move for a female, I don't know what it is.
But he can control fire, so we kind of get it. She can control water.
So things had to balance out somehow.
Yeah.
My man is really not good with kids.
He's not good with kids. He's not good with the situation. She wasn't gonna fight you. She's not crazy enough to.
Well, no, she did throw that killer punch.
She did throw the punch, but she was protecting herself. She didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, but when all else fails, what is the kid gonna do?
Yeah, that's. I'm about to say, she plays serious for that part. I love the character design for that because she don't trust the tree thing. But when the tree thing said we have a bath, she's like, "All right, we'll go."
Now that is an anime trope for you. You can sucker any anime girl. You can't. If you can't sucker them with food or drink, You can sucker them with a bat.
with a bath, which
Now
makes
that is
sense. I'm like,
so unlike American girls. If only they worked for American girls.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Most from other than
Although you can get American girls with food though, so
yeah.
maybe Japanese girls are more advanced. Oops.
I love how they go back to the same village, and he even says, "This village is like we've been here." I think Gabimaru pretty much says.
Hmm. I gotta hand it to her though. Ninjutsu girl, she really was the one keeping the priority straight though. You
Yep,
give me what I want first.
and then we'll talk. Yeah.
Hmm.
I doubt what's his name be comfortable with this. Uh, he's probably smarter than that.
Yeah, but those responsibilities melted away too.
Yep.
Telling a fat man he can't even have a drink of water.
I'm much at the end of the episode, but I appreciate something they did here.
Yep.
The one they've been trying to kill.
Hmm.
Internally beautiful, perfect being.
So, do you remember last episode when we were trying to figure out that place and
Mm-hmm.
like in its meaning and how it fits into? And I told you when I did
Mm-hmm.
some research, I put it all together.
Yep.
I think it's about time I give you a piece of that puzzle.
Leave it to the end of this episode because I have other things I want to mention too. Because there's a big thing here that I think they did, and it's really interesting, but also really weird.
Okay, I'll wait.
I love how they're gonna kill the thing that's telling the truth. Like, like
Right.
what? Those are the other adventurers that came to this island.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't. The first time I looked at that, I didn't know that. I'm just like, because they said other party in like the first episode, they mentioned other parties. I'm like, so they've been here before. So what happened to them all? There we go.
In that email. Oh my goodness, man. That yeah.
Wait, they've been here for centuries, but she's still a little girl. And he's saying, "Don't interfere,
Maybe
because we want
maybe
to still
she's the only
live."
one who's maybe she's the only person who's actually drank the elixir.
Yeah, that could be right. That could be right.
Who doesn't care? This guy.
Yeah, he done some bad things in the episode. I love how they're making her a motherly figure to the little girl, and the girl trusts her.
Right? And if you ask me, she's actually better looking than the ninja girl.
Yep.
She had more curves once she was getting into the bath. I noticed that.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you caught that, but that's another inkling into the idea that that may be his daughter.
Hmm. He's like a cat.
Yep.
When they say general, this is before they got married.
No, they're like, she was saying that she was a strategist and he is her general.
Oh, okay, okay.
They show made her have a dumbfounded face too.
Mm-hmm. All right, that I'll have to say this. That ta- that talks about so much. Before I get into my stuff, Chris, you mentioned from last week you read that thing. Go ahead, because I think you said you're gonna give a little tidbit. Go ahead with that tidbit.
And okay, so let's look at it this way. I gave two bits of pieces of information within the first, at least after episode 2 and between, so it had to be in between 2 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned one thing about this. The story kind of reminds me of Dante's Paradise,
Correct.
or to be more commonly, Divine Comedy.
Correct.
That's the whole book. Now, I cannot pronounce the name, but the name of the villain starts with an S.
Yep.
Correct? I looked up that word, and it gave me so much information. Are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
What other word could you replace paradise with? And then you put hell on top of it.
So heaven.
Right, but what was the place in between heaven and hell?
Oh.
Purgatory.
So the ship. Purgatory. There we go. Yeah, you're right. So you telling me they're in what? They're in purgatory.
Yeah, they're different legends and different cultures have different places for it. But this is mostly related to purgatory.
That's
Purgatory
insane.
City is a place. It's a place that exists where both angels and demons live at, who were both cast out of hell and cast out of heaven. They would say that you hear the angels who are always trying to constantly praying to get back in God's good graces, while you have the demons that are constantly cursing them.
Oh,
Sounding more and more. Are you putting the puzzle together?
yeah, I am.
All right. Now to link Dante's or divine comedy into it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after Dante goes through his 7 layers of hell, he finds himself in purgatory, and looking for redemption before he finds out he has to go into, in order before he climbs the mountain for his own forgiveness. Now,
So
but
he
when you
has
look at purgatory has 3 rings: outermost
Mm-hmm.
layer, the middle layer, and the center layer. Now, if that isn't what they just described,
That's
I don't know what
direct.
is.
That's
And
direct
just to sprinkle
comparison
a
to
little
what
bit on top,
Go ahead.
just to sprinkle a little bit more on top. So different cultures, different legends, they all say different things, but and all of them say that purgatory holds a different type of treasure. And one of the treasures is, again, the elixir of life, or how most Americans call it, the fountain of youth.
The what?
The fountain of youth.
Fountain of Youth. Okay. Yeah. That's the first thing I thought. That's the first thing I thought of it when they said elixir of life. And he says it's immortality or eternal life,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So we say the fountain of youth, where you can be young forever.
Right. See. Now here's a fun fact. And y'all,
Okay.
and this is for the viewers and my friend. You're gonna laugh. What if I told you that Disney already made this? They made this in a movie.
Yeah, I can think of a couple, and 2 come to mind, but the one that comes to mind right away is Atlantis.
Close.
Ooh.
You want to give it another try before I throw it out there?
The other one, and it's not one I have watched much of, I'm gonna say either Don Quixote, which is like a cartoonish version of like the Golden City, or it's the Egyptian version of like Egypt, and like I forget the title of the movie. Yeah, it's one of those. It's like one of those. But go ahead, because I can't.
I know what you're talking about, and that's close. But you'll never forget Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
Oh wow, yeah, you're right. Actually, that parallels this perfectly. Okay, all right then.
Yep. I want some money from Disney for making that coalition.
You're probably never gonna get it, but you figured it out. So you're telling me they're basically
Yep.
doing purgatory, and they're doing the style of like you have to find the fountain of youth to live forever, and the people who want this are just people who are greedy back home, and they just want it to use it for experiment purposes or ultimately duplicate it to where they can all live forever.
Yep.
At the same time, the tree says, one, don't get in our business. I want to keep living. And two, it's almost impossible to get off this island. Like we saw prior
Yep.
when the guy and the girl tried to get off and all those monsters kept attacking them. But then at top of that, we see the two brothers fight Tenson, I think is what they call him. And he pretty much is unbeatable. They slashed him up and he just regenerated. But then he's like, you know what? I'm through with this. Throws them both into this pit. This pit has a bunch of just humans that have been destroyed from him and other things throughout the years of them trying to do this expedition. And the tree says, all these people are going to be turned into flowers. That's when Garby Mario mentions the fact when they ate dinner in 2 episodes prior that the whole island is basically people, corpses. They have made a very compelling story. And you're tying it all back to things we've seen already. I can't be upset anymore that you haven't given us a lot of questions, but you just answered about half the list of questions me and you had in one episode.
Called it. That's all I can say. Called it.
You did call. You did. I said 1 or 2. I didn't think it was gonna be all in one. Mind you, I thought 1 or 2 episodes they're gonna do it. Then the other thing you did, and I thought about this. What do you think about the character development? Because Gabi Morrow had a one-track mind at the beginning of the episode. He was like, "Oh, we found this tree thing. We found this girl. We need the information to find out about what your life is. We need to go find. We need to find things." Then halfway through the episode, he goes, "We can't stay long. We can't stay long. We need to answer. We need to answer." They're sitting at the table. He's not eating. He's just asking questions. Then he pulls a sword on the little girl. They're like, even the ninja girl's like, that's a little much, isn't it? She's like, that's a little much. You just, why? But then at the end of the episode,
he's never dealt with kids.
Yeah, he's never dealt with children, which is surprising. Which is not surprising the way he's, the way he's done things in his life. But then at the end of the episode, 2 things I thought were really interesting. One, you have the little girl in the bath. They walk in on her. The little girl's kind of annoyed, a little annoyed about, she's a little annoyed about him and doesn't really like him that much. Then what's her name's like, I'll help the little girl, which is a cute moment all overall. That's a cute little moment. And then Gamor's cleaning up, and she's like, here, you need this to clean. And then the first thing he thinks of is his wife. And they go to a flashback of his wife cleaning him and telling him, you need to rest. You need to take time to rest so you're ready to fight the bigger battle. Your life is the most important thing.
And this is, just added another drop it just added another drop into the bucket that to me says, dude, that might be your daughter.
That's what I was thinking. When you said that during the episode, I'm like, I know you mentioned it. One of the first episodes we did, you mentioned it. I'm like, they wouldn't do that because the ages don't match up. And nothing matches up. But I'm like, if it was, what time had passed? How much time had passed? We don't know any of that yet. So that's the thing I'm going to be really interested in. If it is like long lost daughter or relative or something, she went to that village at one point, something. I'll be interested in. But my other question is, what do you think of how they handled the two main stories, the little girl, and how they handled learning about her and the tree, and then you had the first story that they left us off on of the two brothers, and they're fighting that double the godlike being who has a split personality, can also turn into a man and woman, but also has another personality that's just separate to him. What do you think about all that? Because I think they did a very good job of splitting the two stories, but they actually had one. They actually both ended up one track.
Well, let me ask you something, and I dare to answer your question with a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think they're dead? Do you think they're dead?
You know my thing about that. We didn't see the bodies after
But
that.
this anime has been. You're right. You're absolutely right. But we got to admit, this anime has, in the last 4-6 episodes that they've had, they have killed off characters that we don't know they're dead.
True, but in most cases, they go to a flashback and say, "This character did this to them," or they just died doing this.
Right.
In this case, I could see him doing it again, but the only thing that gives me a little hope, one, the brother that's long haired who's in the samurai thing, he was still awake. The other brother was out and in the vines. So I'm assuming they're still alive. But do we come back later and they try to climb out and then Tencent just finishes them off? Or does Tencent finish them off right there? It's hard to say because we did see him still moving at the end of the episode. They're not fully out.
We did not see the brother moving, though.
The one with the yellow hair?
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't see the one with the yellow hair move. But I assume he's still alive or he might just be unconscious.
Oh, okay, I can see that.
He might just be unconscious. But even then, that's not even like a great thing because then how are you gonna prove like, oh, he was unconscious for a couple hours or a day? Or does the brother figure out he is actually dead and I'm gonna have to avenge his life? I am destroying Tencent.
Either way, I am ready to see that next episode because they have to man, that was a pretty beastie cliffhanger.
That was a beefy cliffhanger. Then we have another one when Gabimaru, the little girl, and Siguri are walking back to where the rest of them are. She says he's changed little by little. He's gotten better. He's gotten more humanized, basically what she's trying to say. Little by little. But I'm like, he has. But remember what Gabimaru says to him right at the end. And you can hear him say, he says it like in his thoughts, but you don't ever see him speak it, I don't think. He goes, I know what I have to do. I have to get back. I remember what I have to do. I have to get back to my wife.
Right.
Now he has that one track mind why he's doing this. And the thing I love, Jedi, and I don't think they did this I don't think they did it crazily, but I thought you see like the Jedi Force ghost, like he's imagining his wife and the chief. He don't like the chief, but he loves his wife. He wants to get his wife away from the chief. That's good foreshadowing, and that's also good storytelling of love. He's back what he needs to do. He has a one-track mind. He rested. He's ready to go, but he now knows to win this battle, I need to rest. I need to take time. But also, we don't need to chat too much. If we have to chat, it's information purposes. This episode did so much good. And honestly, it's one of those things where they always tell you, I'm going to use a sports reference. So the Philadelphia 76ers had this thing called, they said, trust the process. Where they trusted their process of getting better as a team, all that kind of stuff. You said it last week. Trust the animators, trust the storytellers, trust Mappa. Oh, I got full trust in y'all now, Mappa. Y'all have done what y'all needed to do. I'm colorly intrigued because you just made this very interesting.
Very.
Before I ask you for the rating, is there anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
In the opening sequence, see, one of the characters has died. I wonder if anybody caught that, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh yeah, I did see this. Yeah, I remember. I'm not going to mention it, but I know what you're talking about. But I'm not going to mention. We haven't seen that character yet. By the way, speaking of the opening sequence, we see the little girl and the tree thing in the opening sequence, and they paid it off here. So it's like we're getting that tease of stuff now from the opening sequence as much as possible.
Not only that, but two girls who were kissing in the peach.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them transformed into a guy, and then when they played the opening sequence, he was still a guy. It wasn't a girl anymore.
He wasn't a girl again. Yeah. I'm gonna bring up the question. So you brought up the question about is Gabimaru and the samurai lady mother and daughter? But I have a better question for you. The two gods. Do you think the little girl with the tree thing is their daughter? Huh?
Probably.
Because I'm wondering if she could punch Gabimaru and make him bleed with that punch. She has some immense power that she probably doesn't know how to control.
It makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, actually. We'll definitely be seeing her in the next, at least within the next two to 3 episodes.
Yeah. I will say the other thing I loved, and the other thing I really appreciate is that they made the ninja girl get some new. She has some new development, and she is ninjutsu of water. So we have ninjutsu of fire, which is Gabimaru, and ninjutsu of water. I'm wondering if the little girl is actually related to the two beings, but I wonder if she also has the jutsu of I think it's wood or forest in this case, what they call it. I think she has one of the jutsus too. So we're gonna see all the ninjutsus eventually.
That would be interesting because that means somebody would need to control air.
Air and I think air is the only one we're missing, and there's two others. I forgot the other two we're missing. Yeah, but like I think we at least see 4 of them in this series in this season because I think there's 6 total. I think that, but I also think they did her little dirty. They did the little Disney girl dirty because she was like, I don't really fight low enemies, which I'm like, really? You don't fight low enemies, and yet we had a big giant dude about 2 episodes ago that you wouldn't help Gabimaru with. Come on now. But I'll test my skills against this tree. Huh. All right.
I mean, everything has been a experiment with her.
So she drinks some water and it starts dripping.
Like everything.
Do you think they're going to do more of that, where just like they slowly just reveal more of her character, or is it just kind of a thing they're just trying to make it? They're just kind of keeping teased a little bit.
I think they're doing a bit of a tease.
I just think it's interesting. It's like
still. I mean, the biggest giveaway was the fact that before she did her move, she threw away dude's glasses because she didn't want him to see what she was capable of either.
That
So
That
all
is
you do is see her body precipitate.
that is actually a good point. We did. She threw away the glasses. I thought she was throwing them away because she said he didn't need them because he can fight without them. But
Mm-mm.
no, you're right. She didn't want him to see what she could do. That's 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 okay. All right then. Yeah, I am looking forward to next episode. I can't wait till Saturday. This will be fun. Um, before we get into Demon Slayer, as we're talking, I hope you have got that pulled up. We're going to be doing Demon Slayer episode 6, by the way. Chris, give your rating for this episode because I'm looking forward to hear what you're going to say.
Because they gave me some answers. And they gave me definitive proof of what I research that I did. So I'm giving this episode an 8.2.
8.2. Okay. Okay. All right. I would have to give this 8.4. So a little bit higher than you. And I'm like you. They gave us
Okay.
some answers. They gave us a lot of things we didn't know. Like you said, the research you did proves a lot of things we're learning now. I think one other thing they're doing. So the elixir life is like the fountain of youth, but also they're doing the purgatory thing. But also, you could technically say they're doing the Adam and Eve thing of good and evil, because the elixir of life is basically like they're saying it's pure. In the wrong hands, it's pure evil. In the right hand, it's pure good. In a sense, like the people that Gabimaru and all the criminals are working for, to get the elixir, they just want it probably for their own gain.
Of course.
Gabimaru just wants it to get back to his wife. He don't care what it does.
Now, I know it would be a nice end of season twister that I would like to see him throw in.
Which is
What if the guy that's sponsoring especially Gabimaru to go into this place?
mm-hmm.
What if it's the chief?
Oh. Oh. That would be kind of ironic.
Well, think about it. The one guy who doesn't like him, he gives him his daughter, and then he takes his daughter away, and you're put in jail for X amount of years. We don't know. It could have been months.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a woman comes to take you to an island to where where to go find the elixir of life.
Yeah.
It's one thing I've always understood about anime. Nothing happens out of pure chance.
No, it does not. If that's the case, that also proves your theory that she's either that the samurai lady that Gabimaru is escorting, or not escorting, but like following or guarding, she's been to that village where he used to work. She knows about his past. But also she's asked questions about his past. But I wonder if she's asked those questions to verify things she's already heard.
Now that's probably more accurate. He's verifying things about his history, his past, because remember in the first episode she's more so measuring his will to live.
Correct.
Like somebody who's literally living on the death penalty has survived every known method of torture and killing is still alive.
Well, I think that if that's the case, that would be awesome.
Now, people, I have not read the manga in any way or form or fashion.
Yeah.
To those who have, maybe I'm close, maybe I'm not. Hey, it's just all
The
in good speculation.
the only thing I will say, because the video I watched about this as part of the Dark Trilogy, and something else they mentioned in the manga has 4 arcs. This is only the 4th arc of the manga.
Interesting. Really interesting, though.
So that tells me this story is gonna go for a bit. How much information they get?
Yep.
How much stuff they give us in the first season? It depends. And then what they do in
Well,
subsequent seasons.
I'm down to keep watching it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you've colored me intrigued. Like I said, you colored me intrigued, Mappa. I'm down to keep watching because y'all make some good stuff anyway. But where you take this is gonna be really interesting. But we're about to get into Demon Slayer episode 6. This is like I said before. I'll say it again. We just had the main dish. We're about to get into dessert because both these episodes did a lot like this past weekend, and they did really well for what they let off on. So I will say 3, 2, 1, and then we'll go. So you ready, Chris?
I'm ready.
All right then. 3, 2, 1. I love the fact they left us off where we were from the previous episode. Genya snarling at Tanjiro.
Yeah, man. You lucky Tanjiro ain't got no shotgun because
Nope.
Tanjiro probably would have fired first and top questions later.
Ask question later.
Now, just for fun, I would love to see the animators give Inosuke his shotgun.
What would Inosuke do with that shotgun? He probably don't like.
But he probably wouldn't really use it. It's not really in his style at all.
Yeah.
But if he did, I can just imagine he would probably be shooting shots just to shoot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The episode's called Aren't You going to become a Hashira?
Ooh, the color of that lightning, boy.
Yep. That lightning was just like one fell swoop. Didn't even. Can I say people have said this before? Chandra was just like the best main character. Cause he's so genuine. He's
For
like,
real.
I'm like what? And Ginya's like, oh, you want to become a Hashira? Okay, let's do it together. And Ginya's like, I'm just gonna let go of your neck now. But I don't know why I'm letting go of your neck.
Right.
I want to just. It's just like, oh, by the way, don't slash my sister. And he's like, sister, but she's a demon.
Huh?
Okay, all right then. I
Right.
believe you. That's just funny.
But you know what though? You know what would have been really cool to see?
What?
Nezuko throw some of her blood on his shotgun.
Oh, making flaming bullets, flaming ninja and bullets.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Yes,
amazing.
sir.
I love that I love that Tanjiro is getting more of his like leadership and strategy. He's understanding his senses more.
I have a question, but I don't know if I should wait till the ending of it.
Wait till the end.
The end of the episode.
Yeah. I forget he's still in this. He's still in this prison.
Just wait. Can't get out that way. Can't get out that way.
Oh.
Ooh. Boy. Ooh.
Yeah, he's adept in combat.
He ain't having no problem. Ooh.
I forget Niska does that. She's like, stick that thing in me further. I'm gonna burn you. I don't care. My.
Ooh. It's a hard hit though. Gotcha.
And there he is.
Tiny as all get out.
Yep.
Now let's be honest for a minute. There is no way you should have missed that with a shotgun.
You shouldn't have, but shotgun, I would think in this case, they're saying the shotgun bullet is too much for it to. Like, it's not going to do much because it's just going to destroy everything in the body if it had a body, But this case is a demon, so the
True.
shotgun blast is not going to destroy just the head.
When you're right, Brandon.
And see, that was direct blast. The current Wind Hashira.
Now he has a very sad story.
Very sad backstory. I will say this. Remember when Drew mentioned the first episode came out on like a holiday, and this episode came out on Mother's Day? and I thought back to like that's kind of bad. I'm like, well, they don't really. That's a U.S. only holiday, so I'm like, they probably didn't think about that.
Man, I didn't realize it until you said it. Wow, this messed up episode about mother came out on Mother's Day. Wow.
Yeah. Yes, I was like, oh man. And nope.
Because he actually saw it, he had it worse than Tanjiro.
Yeah. Man, this is just like gone from bad to worst.
Holding his younger brother. He was holding his younger brother, and his younger brother still did. Bro, that is tragic.
Oh my. Oh.
Never mind the fact that she is literally evaporating in the sun.
Correct.
Talking about character development. All within 5 minutes.
Yes. Wow, that was harsh. I forgot him. I forgot he said that. They showed that off.
Yeah, but that was harsh for a reason, though.
Yeah.
Woo! With Tanjiro, though. Woo.
No, you didn't. How is Kenya still standing, by the way? He should not be standing.
Whatever mantra he got. No, heck no. Let alone talking.
Yeah, slow talking.
Now you know what though? This scene, like that samurai in Hell's Paradise, looked down like a bitch. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And then he shoots the shotgun looking like that.
Yeah, looking like that. He's like, I don't care. I'm gonna shoot my shotgun. Don't.
But I noticed for a split second, the blood stopped dripping in between them though.
Correct.
Woo.
And that's the end. You have a question earlier. You had a question you wanted to ask earlier. What was that question?
Well, now since we waited to the end, so did you notice that Tanjiro's sword is red?
Yes, I did. But I don't.
So with that being noticeable, that's what I'm saying. With that being noticeable, do you think that's just because of his sister's blood, or is his sword actually red now?
I think it's a mix of just his sister's blood, but also I think it's a thing of it's foreshadowing, because it's foreshadowing of when the sword turns red, you've unlocked your demon mark. So the little scar on Chandra's head. So I think when he gets his true sword, I think that's going to be fully unlocked.
So we'll see.
Um,
Because right now it's up in the air.
yes,
That
it is.
means
It is up
Tanjiro
there.
ain't got his real sword. The dude in the mist ain't got his new sword yet.
Genya broke his little sword yet.
Nah, Gideon gonna be all right. Because
Yes.
he said the only thing he can't heal himself from is getting his head blown off. But he can heal himself so that assuming him saying that means that he can heal himself from
Fully.
any other type of wound.
Yeah. This episode starts off with a bang, and then basically starts off great, starts off with a bang, and then just gets sadder as we get to the middle part, and then ends off with a bang. And the sad middle part is the thing I think we want to hone on. I think we need to hone in on, because what you think of Genya's backstory, him and his brother, who's the Wind Hashira's backstory, that was sad.
Like I was saying before, man, his backstory is worse than Tanjiro's. Like for real. Like if you ask me,
absolutely.
Like I don't know if anybody, only true fans will recognize this. When I say fans, I'm talking to my Harry Potter fans. Only my real Harry Potter fans who have read the books will catch this. Because in the Harry Potter books, there was a prophecy, blah, 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 about Harry Potter. However, in the books, they explain that prophecy really could have gone any other way between him and Neville Longbottom.
Correct.
Because Neville Longbottom parents were killed by the same person the same way.
I think they
leave a scar.
I think they mentioned that in the movie too. It's not like a full on mention in the movie, but they passively mentioned, oh, if Neville ends up having the same problem that Harry did, he could have became what Harry ended up becoming. So it is passively mentioned. It's
exactly.
not fully mentioned. So in this case, if Genya had learned the breathing styles and all that, and actually got the chance to learn all that stuff, I think he could become a full-on Hashira.
Exactly.
What do you think about it? His flashback to his older brother saying, "You're not fast enough. You're weak, or you're not fast enough. You should just quit." Why would he say that to his brother?
He's telling him because he doesn't want his brother to do. He doesn't want his brother to die the same way. His brother's biggest fear is seeing the same thing happen to his brother, the same thing happen to his mother.
But it's also kind of funny to me. I believe you. I do believe you. I think it's funny though because you think about what the Hashira have to go through. It's reminding me when Goku's dad said you should have when Goku should have followed in my footsteps. He wasn't. He's not. He was not built for that. But yet, when Goku was one of the strongest Hashira that there was, and he did it out of the kindness of his heart, and he cared for the people he did it with.
Yep.
It's a weird thing because I think the Wind Hashira, the only time we've met him fully is during when Tanjiro first goes to meet them all, and he is like the Wind Hashira is kind of just being rude and disrespectful to Tanjiro and Nezuko until the Master walks in. Until the Master walks in, he just bows to the Master and says nothing else. The rest of the couple episodes we see him in, but it feels like he has to think of duty, but he's also very cocky. But also at the same time, I think he remembers what happened to his mother and what he had to do. He doesn't want anybody else to feel that pain, but he also doesn't want his brother to die alongside him.
But then again, he had even more character growth when he just accepts the fact that he can't cut the demon, and he's telling Tanjiro, "No, you cut him. I got your back."
Yes.
And proceeds to take what looks like a huge shotgun to his body instead of his face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why I don't know if I teased it because like they mentioned the fact that body that the little guy, that little demon body is a lot stronger at the neck area than the rest of the demons that he's manifested. All the other emotional demons. So you want to destroy him, you have to destroy everybody. And that's not going to be easy.
That's the claim that they're making, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, that's that because it's not like fully proven yet, but that's what they're proving at. The only thing that I think this episode doesn't do very well, and I don't think it should have been in here, but I think I didn't mind. I actually like they did go back to it. I think it's kind of weird that you have the Miss Hashira still in the bubble, and you show upper rank 5 talking to him about like you're gonna suffocate soon, you're gonna die. It's kind of being maniacal and kind of evil, and I get the point, but it doesn't feel right with everything else in the episode. What do you think?
But the very fact that I feel like the animators, they just gave us just to say that no, there is a whole episode he's in that bubble. Don't even worry about him. We'll catch up to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think they're trying to show so much action in between episodes that showing what happens next with him might have been too much.
Yeah, I also think it's kind of interesting. We see the Love Hashira in the previous episode. We don't see her none here, which makes me think we'll see her more next episode. And I also think
I can see that.
I also think too the Miss Hashira is going to go 1-on-1 with upper rank 5 with no help. He's just fighting him by himself with no help because he's just that's just going to be the only help he's going to get. I think he's get help from the little boy and the other older man that's still out there with him. We haven't seen him yet because they ran off, but I think that's the only help he's going to get, and then he's just going to fight him 1-on-1.
Man, say.
Yeah,
because remember he still got to get his sword too.
Yes, he does. Which is in that little hut, by the way, which we still is not fully destroyed. It's still standing. So, the other thing I was going to mention Do you think they're showing more of Nezuko fighting now than they did in the first 2 seasons?
Bro, because
I
Nezuko is that bitch.
like she gets stabbed in the stomach by one of the demons, and she's just like, you know what? I'm stabbing stuff. I'm pinned this tree. I'm just gonna pull myself towards you with the stab wound still in me, and just burn you. I'm like,
Yep.
what? Okay, you just did that without thinking. All right then. Then the other thing I love. So Tandra comes to save her, and they're hugging, and you can tell that she really wants to help Tandra. They've got a stronger bond.
Right.
But then at the same point, what do you think about this? Tandra's like, go help Ginya, help him, but do what you need to do, but make sure. He tells Ginya, make sure you don't hurt her. I love that because now she's
But let's
more
be
part.
honest. I
She's
think
she's more part of that team.
now here's a long-term prediction that I would love to see.
Okay, hit me with it.
I want to see Nezuko start talking again. But if they do that, I don't see them doing that until like the final season.
We get the tease in the opening sequence where the bamboo muzzle's on the ground in the sunlight. That is teaching something for the end of the season. I think you're not
Right.
off. I don't think you're off base though, because I think we're also gonna get her talking at the end of the season.
Because it's what it seems like the more powerful demons become, the more sentient and intelligent they become as well.
Correct. She's become more intelligent of like, oh, I can use my. Literally, she learned how to use her blood on Tandra's non-demon sword. That's not his normal sword. To make it red. She did that once before on accident. She did it here on purpose.
Yep. And I love how they keep both of the flames all the same color. That is
That purple with that pinkish purple color looks amazing. Like it does. It looks amazing. It makes sense. It fits. My other prediction for the rest of the season, I wonder if Ginya is going to tell Tanjiro why he turned into how he is a demon. We don't know that yet. Or demon-like features.
Yeah, I do think he'll end up telling Tanjiro, and Tanjiro will probably end up using it in his arsenal a little bit. I do see that.
Correct. Man, this episode was really good. This episode built more of the story, built more character development. I'm saying right now, if you haven't caught up with Demon Slayer, please do, because Infotable has done an amazing job with these episodes for season 3, but the whole series in general is just really good. I implore you to go watch it. Like, watch this. Like, go through season 1, go through season 2, go through Mugen Train, go through the Entertainment District, because it's some of the best storytelling so far. Even though it's short, the anime is short, because the manga is 23 chapters. Within those 23 chapters, they've so far told a really good story anime wise.
Like, I think anybody or any company that's showing this is going to root to make it, the final season probably 2 parts. And you know what? We might be well into our 40s, but I would love to see Netflix try to do a live action adaptation
Of this? I'll play. Oh, you're pulling my heartstrings, because they do a lot of
because I mean they're doing One Piece in Avatar. Come on.
Yeah, if you had a live adaptation of this, I think you could do it very well and very interesting, because I think you could make the characters more. There's more life in the characters, but also the story can be told in so much of an interesting way with the actual background and stuff. Not actual, like you're in the forest or something, but like you tell it as a way with things happening. And then the only other thing I want to bring up, and I think you told me I had a good call on this, but I thought the one thing I did think about, what do you think of Tanjiro just using his smell more, figuring out things more? He's grown, so he's like, wait, we're missing something. I'm missing something. What am I missing? And he thinks about all the senses he's seen, like all the things he smelled, all the other demons he's seen around him. Wait, there's a fifth demon. But he's not no normal fifth demon, he's a very small fifth demon. I love the fact he tells Ginya, go this way, do that. What do you think about that? Because that's something you just don't do off on the fly. And it's honestly because the demon even says you got faster and stronger since I first met you. Why and how? So what do you think about all that?
Honestly, I think it's Tanjiro's ability. Like every Hashira has a signature ability that happens to be Tanjiro's. Mm-hmm. And we've seen how his sense of smell has guided him even to where he's able to sense that thread, like he likes to call it.
Yeah, the opening thread. Yep, in the first season.
So we're just seeing Tanjiro's abilities become more and more enhanced as more episode goes by. I mean, he is adapting to the battlefield. So
yes, he is. Before I end this episode off, I'm gonna ask Chris for the rating in a second. I will say this: if you haven't, like I said with Demon Slayer, if you haven't watched this yet, go and pour yourself to watch it. If you haven't watched Hell's Paradise, and I said you should wait till the end of the season, I'm saying now, watch the first 7 episodes because after episode 7 gives you pretty much all the answers you need. And I think that's just been a smart way by Mappa of like, hey, we've made this, we've slow burned it, but we've now given you all the answers. Now you're ready to see what happens after this point. I think this is probably the first time in a while where I've watched an anime. I'm just like, I wish this wasn't week to week. I wish this was all out right now. I kind of wish I could just I could binge it, but I'm not. Hey, I can wait. But to say all that, Chris, what do you give the rating for Demon Slayer episode 6?
I give this episode a 9 even.
Ooh, explain.
Because I like how they give us they take away Inosuke and Zenitsu, but they give us Ginya. Now, and unlike Zenitsu and Inosuke, they actually give him a backstory.
Yes.
So you feel more concerned. So the fact that they gave us the back on this character, who's supposedly a part of Tanjiro's graduating class, if you will.
Yes, correct.
It makes sense. And the action was on par and everything. The only reason it doesn't get that 9.9 like the last 2 episodes is simply because they had to dial back the action a little bit, but they gave us a great story.
Correct. I will also go 9 route with you. I think everything you pretty much said I agree with. There's only one thing I think there's 2 small things I think I kind of gripe with, but one I've mentioned earlier. I think showing the Miss Hashira and showing that story still is cool, but I think it wasn't that necessary for this. But like you said, they did it. They did it because this is still happening. This hasn't changed since the last episode, but we still want to show you it. That's fine. But I think you guys completely took it out and then started the next episode with that or with something else. I also think the other thing that's kind of a little bit hard to swallow, I think is, so the pacing was good up until after you see the backstory with Ginya. Then they cut to Miss Hashira, cut to that scene where they're just talking for like 2 seconds. The upper rank 5 just saying stuff to Miss Hashira, and then they cut back to the fight. I think if you would have dropped that Miss Hashira thing, you just kept the fight going. I think that makes more sense. Kept the fight going, kept Ginya trying to find the little dude. I don't mind the fact that you cut a little bit because you cut after the flashback back to Ginya. After the flashback, you cut back to Ginya, and he's still in that pose. That's fine. I just think cutting from the beginning of the fight to the mist thing, back to the fight, cutting to Ginya, Ginya's going to the flashback and all that stuff, and cutting back to him. If you took out the cut between the mist thing and I'll just had it one continuous thing to that first cut of Ginya going to the flashback, I think it makes more sense. But overall, I think it was a good episode.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Yeah. I know I'm being super nitpicky. That's super nitpicky, but I think that's one thing I think was really kind of weird because it didn't feel like you needed the Mishawara stuff there, unless you wanted Upper Rank 5 to talk, which he's a good talker and he's a creepy character, so it makes sense. You just want him to be in the scene anyway.
But that I have to say this too. They did give us a lot of action in the previous episodes, so it does make sense to kind of. It is kind of hard to go up from there. So
yes.
So they knew they had to dial it back.
They had to dial it back, and I think that's why the Ginya thing was a dial back. When they showed the Ginya flashback, that's pretty much most of your episode, and that's the way to dial that action back, so you don't see a lot of the extra stuff, all that stuff. But yeah, I'll give it a 9. But ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 5 of the Anime Dojo. We'll be back network for Hell's Paradise episode 8 and Demon Slayer episode 7. We're only 3. They're only after the episode 7 of Demon Slayer. We're only 3 more episodes, or 4, I think technically, to the end. With Hell's Paradise, we don't know because we didn't get to see the preview. I don't think you have seen the preview, Chris, about how many episodes this was going to be for Hell's Paradise. I'm assuming 10 or 11. Somewhere in there.
It's nothing I can't do real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and look it up. But yeah, like we both have said, I think if you had been on Demon Slayer, go ahead and watch that. If you're thinking about getting to Hell's Paradise, definitely get into that. But yeah, we're gonna keep doing these, and we're enjoying it. We're so much enjoying just going through this and talking about it. I hope you all are too. Like I said, this will be on the podcast, like on the podcast immediately on Spotify and on TalkShoe. Also, I'll put the YouTube channel just as a video version. If you just want to have a video version on the background while you're doing something, that's fine as well. Did you find the answer, Chris?
Yes.
Well, what is it?
Paradise will have a total of 13 episodes.
13, okay. So about half what Demon Slayer Season 1 had. 26. Demon Slayer Season 1 had 26. This will be 13, so about half, which makes sense. First season, you want to get a lot of stuff out there. So we're about halfway through Hell's Paradise. We have 6 episodes to go, and then we'll be at episode 7 with 4 episodes to go for Demon Slayer. But like I said, I do thank you for watching. Go ahead.
Also, right before you end, it turns out Source Mist Village will have a total of 30 episodes, which will be cut in 2 parts for 12 episodes.
Oh.
The first run is for 12 episodes. Ooh.
All right. So the Swordsmith Village is cut in 2 parts. Okay. That makes actually some sense because we're only like halfway through the story, and I don't think we're at the part of where they're really going to have a big fight yet with everybody involved, which makes sense. So they're cutting up this arc pretty much in half to make it a longer series. You're gonna wait another year for the second half of that. That's gonna be bad. A lot of people to do for that. Well, hey, I'm down. I trust these anime companies now. They've made some good stuff. You can't be mad. But like I said, I do thank you for listening. Hope you did enjoy. I do thank you for watching. If you did watch on TalkShoe, and like I said, I'm gonna post it on YouTube. And we'll hope you. And thank you, Chris, for joining me. I hope you hear from next time. See you.